KJA Global Channel. The Political System and Me. Series 3. Institutions, Power, Rights, and Accountability. Episode 30. My Local Government. Services close to the people. Local government is where the state stops being an idea and becomes an experience. Most citizens will never meet a president. Many will never speak to a member of parliament. Some may never enter a courtroom. But every citizen will meet local government again and again. Because local government lives where life happens. It is the road outside the home. The water that arrives or does not arrive. The market that is clean or neglected. The waste that is collected or abandoned. The clinic that opens or remains empty. The school route that is safe or dangerous. The permit that is processed or delayed. Local government is the closest face of the political system. It is the state at human distance. It can make democracy feel real. Or it can make democracy feel like a lie. This is where our question begins. Can government make daily life work without forcing citizens to beg, bribe, travel far, or depend on personal connections? Democracy is not proven when leaders speak. Democracy is proven when citizens receive service without humiliation. This episode is about local government as the service engine of a dignified society. Services close to the people. Decisions close enough to understand local need. Accountability close enough for citizens to see. Decentralization is not only administrative convenience. It is a moral promise. No citizen should have to travel to the center merely to become visible. Many political systems treat local government as minor. A lower level. A place for paperwork. An office that waits for orders. But local government is one of the highest stakes arenas of governance. The most frequent relationship between citizen and state is not national. It is local. The system reveal is subsidiarity and local accountability. Local government is where citizens most directly experience whether government works for them. In plain language, the hidden mechanism is subsidiarity and local accountability. Subsidiarity means a public responsibility should be handled by the lowest level of government that can perform it effectively, fairly, and accountably. It does not mean every decision belongs locally. Some responsibilities require national standards, regional coordination, equal financing, or protection of rights. Subsidiarity asks a disciplined question. Which level can solve this problem closest to the people without sacrificing competence, equality, rights, or coordination? Local government is the third layer of shared sovereignty. National government protects common interests. State or regional government protects territorial self-government. Local government turns public authority into daily service. Depending on constitutional design, local responsibilities may include water, sanitation, waste collection, local roads, markets, parks, building permits, public lighting, drainage, local planning, community health, and emergency response. These services look ordinary. But ordinary systems carry extraordinary dignity. Clean water protects health. Safe roads protect life. Waste collection protects the neighborhood. Fair permits protect livelihoods. Public lighting protects movement. Accessible meetings protect voice. Local corruption is the everyday danger. Local service is the everyday dignity. Corruption at national level may steal enormous sums. Corruption at local level enters the citizen's daily path. A permit requires a hidden fee. A contract goes to a relative.
A road is built badly.
A land record disappears. A service is withheld from an opposition neighborhood. Local power can be close enough to understand the people. It can also be close enough to intimidate them. That is why decentralization without accountability can move corruption closer to the citizen. And decentralization without capacity can move dysfunction closer as well. Genuine local democracy requires both authority and restraint. Local institutions need real responsibilities, real money, professional staff, public records, citizen participation, and independent review. In dictatorship, local government is often designed more for control than service. Local officials collect information, enforce political orders, distribute rewards, monitor communities, and report upward. Such a system may be efficient at control and incompetent at service. That is why dictatorship fears genuine local democracy. Local democracy creates local confidence. Local confidence creates local courage. And local courage can spread. Reforming local government requires visible improvements while institutions are still being built. Citizens cannot live on future promises alone. A practical reform sequence has 5 parts. First,
Clear authority.
citizens and officials must know which level is responsible for each service and what legal limits apply. Second, adequate resources. Local duties require predictable revenue, fair transfers, lawful local taxation, procurement capacity, and transparent budgets. Third, professional competence. Local government needs administrators, engineers, planners, health coordinators, procurement officers, accountants, and auditors selected by merit. Fourth, transparent systems. Budgets, contracts, permits, decisions, meeting minutes, service standards, and performance reports should create public records. Fifth, citizen participation. People need safe and meaningful ways to influence plans, budgets, services, and local priorities before decisions are final. Participation is not a ceremonial meeting after the decision has already been made. It requires timely information, understandable language, accessible venues, records of proposals, and reasons for accepting or rejecting public input. Inclusive participation also asks who is missing. Women, young people, persons with disabilities, smaller communities, informal workers, migrants, rural residents, and people without political connections may face barriers even when a meeting is technically open. Local government must protect minority voices within local majorities. A town council elected democratically can still discriminate against a smaller community. Local democracy is legitimate only when common rights remain enforceable. Instead of stopping at the visible outcome, map local government through the governance chain. Constitutional rule, institution, policy, budget and capacity, official action, human experience, review, and correction. Constitutional rule asks whether local authority is legally protected and what rights limit it. Institution identifies the council, mayor, department, committee, or service body responsible. Policy defines the standard or objective. Budget and capacity ask whether money, staff, equipment, and data exist. Official action records what the local authority actually did. Human experience shows what citizens received or endured. Review and correction ask who can audit, hear a complaint, order a remedy, or enforce change. A broken outcome may begin far upstream. The visible harm may be uncollected waste, unsafe water, a delayed permit, a flooded road, an unfair market fee, or a neighborhood excluded from service. But the deeper failure may be an unclear mandate, an unfunded duty, a hidden budget, weak procurement, an unqualified official, captured oversight, or an appeal route that exists only on paper. The chain prevents us from reducing failure to one mayor or one clerk. It identifies where law, finance, capacity, records, participation, oversight, or enforcement stopped working. When citizens can locate that break, criticism becomes more accurate and reform becomes more practical. For this episode, the principal mechanism is subsidiarity and local accountability. The production graphic must make every link readable on a phone screen and label country-specific or proposed arrangements honestly. Under dictatorship, local government is shaped primarily by concentrated command. Information is restricted, institutions answer upward, appointments reward loyalty, budgets may be controlled from the center, and challenge may carry personal risk. In a fragile democracy, formal local institutions may exist while patronage, corruption, unequal capacity, politicized transfers, weak records, or poor enforcement make service inconsistent. Councils may be elected but underfunded. Participation may exist but be dominated by local elites. Complaints may be received but never corrected. In a functioning federal democracy, authority is constitutionally distributed, common rights remain enforceable, and national, regional, and local institutions can question or correct harmful power. Local authorities possess defined responsibilities, reliable finance, professional administration, public records, and lawful review. No democratic design is self-executing. The viewer should compare who decides, how authority was obtained, whether records are public, whether affected people participate, and whether local complaint, audit, and appeal are available in practice. Protection becomes durable only when local government is converted into rules, responsibilities, records, and remedies. The minimum guardrails are 1. Constitutionally or legally protected local authority. Local government must possess defined responsibilities that cannot be removed arbitrarily by political command.
2.
Subsidiarity and clear service mandates. Each service should have a responsible level, minimum standard, funding source, coordination rule, and public explanation. 3. Transparent local budgets and procurement. Revenue, transfers, spending, contracts, ownership interests, delivery records, and audits should be published in accessible forms.
4.
Inclusive community participation. Citizens need notice, information, accessible meetings, consultation, participatory planning where appropriate, and recorded responses to their proposals.
5.
Local complaint, audit, and appeal. Citizens need safe routes to challenge delay, discrimination, corruption, illegal fees, service failure, and misuse of local authority. These safeguards work as a system. Authority without finance is empty. Finance without records can fund corruption. Participation without information becomes theater. Audit without enforcement becomes observation. And a remedy without implementation does not repair harm. Global relevance. Across political labels, ask who decides, what limits power, who pays, what is public, who participates, who audits, and whether correction is real. Myanmar relevance. Apply the lesson without treating one organization, authority, community, township, municipality, or proposal as the whole country. Separate existing institutions from interim structures, local practices, political commitments, and aspirational federal designs. State honestly whether an arrangement currently operates only in certain areas, or remains proposed. Here is the civic practice for this episode. See and ask. Attend a local council meeting or read its minutes where this can be done safely. Note who speaks, who decides, what information is available, and whose concerns are absent. Verify. Examine one local government law, budget, meeting record, service standard, participation rule, procurement record, or appeal mechanism. Distinguish the published rule from actual practice.
Act.
Apply subsidiarity to one local service. Identify the responsible authority, required resources, service standard, participation process, public record, oversight body, and appeal route. Review one lawful, low-risk opportunity to participate or request information. Protect victims, witnesses, family members, confidential records, and digital security before taking any outward step.
Review.
Record whether you can name the responsible institution, the evidence, the safeguard or remedy, and one safe next step. The measure of success is not visibility. It is whether you can identify responsibility, evidence, a credible safeguard, and the safest practical action. When citizens must beg for services, democracy becomes futile. The citizen becomes a client. The official becomes a patron. That is not democracy. Officials serve because citizens are the owners of public authority. If the political system is a house, the citizen lives on the ground floor. Local government is that ground floor. Local government is not small government. It is the most intimate government. It is daily life democracy. A democracy that citizens can touch. The principle to carry forward is this. Local government is where citizens most directly experience whether government works for them. Ask yourself, what part of accountable local government have I treated as normal even though it should be visible, answerable, and correctable? The political system is not distant. It is daily life. In the next episode, we continue with my economy and fair markets. Growth with justice. Continue the playlist, use the worksheet, and keep the practice safe, truthful, and disciplined. The system shapes our lives. Our participation shapes the system.
Subscribe.
Learn, participate, shape the future. KJA, knowledge justifies authority.